Hey guys, this is Dennis, the founder of Think Hero.
And this is Roth, your straight up reviewer.
And this is our review of Lost, Season 6, Episode 13.
The Last Recruits.
I like this episode a lot, much better than last week's. I felt like it moved the story forward more.
I like this episode a lot too, and there was a lot going on. It kind of packed in a lot of information. I enjoyed it overall.
Well, in the original timeline, we had the two camps merged together into one.
Right. And then fraction off again almost immediately.
With Sawyer's plan that he had. Let's talk about Sawyer.
Large and in charge.
Yes, he's now a man with a plan, and his little talk with Jack on the boat.
Get off my boat.
Which led to Jack basically jumping off and deciding
to follow his own conscience.
Yeah.
I love that because it's great to see, again, Sawyer sort of taking the leadership role and Jack relinquishing it. Because I think it's one of the island has lessons to teach, and maybe that's something Sawyer needed to learn to do for himself, that side of himself that is kind of a leader. And Jack needed to learn to, like he said, let go. And what's more letting go than jumping into the ocean? They sort of reversed that too, whereas Sawyer had jumped into the ocean for the good of the whole. Jack's now done it, and Jack's going off to follow his own conscience, which is what Locke used to do. Yeah,
they mentioned that it was basically a leap of faith, which is what Locke used to be all about.
That used to be his position, and he's filled it, and now Sawyer sort of filled Jack's old position. I do think, like, especially when he said to Kate, "We're done going back, Kate." Loved it for two reasons. One, hot. Am I right, ladies? You know, I'm sorry, but you hear that from that guy and you're like, okay. Tell her. But then the other reason is Kate she stubbornly won't learn her lesson, which is like, stop trying to be the savior to the world. Stop constantly going back. Go freaking forward. You want Claire to raise Aaron?
Yeah, that was kind of strange. I mean, we know that's why she came back to the island, to get Claire back, but she should realize after seeing her in that condition, she's in no position to raise Aaron properly.
Yeah.
We also had a nice moment, the reunion between Sun and Jin finally.
Oh, sweet. I loved that.
Yeah, that was a good moment because they haven't seen each other so long. I have a minor quibble with it in the fact that I know why they did it, because they wanted to make it a little more broad for everyone. But in that circumstance, there's no way those two characters would speak in English to each other. It would totally be Korean to each other. There's no way.
Yeah. No, I know. I actually noticed that too, and it bothered me too. Not only does she suddenly get her English back, but in this lovely moment with her husband, his choosing to speak her second language. I don't know why you would do that.
It's very unnatural.
Yeah.
So some of the questions in the original timeline we have, some easy to answer ones, like, did Sayid kill Desmond? No, he's highly unlikely.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
And somebody said something funny too. They were like, nobody on Lost is dead until you see him die. And it's true. Like, if they didn't show it, he's not dead.
And then we have, Sayid mentioned something that was a little interesting. He said that the reason why he believed that the Man in Black could bring back Nadia was that he said the Man in Black brought Sayid back from the dead, which, as we saw, that's not exactly what happened.
We don't really know what happened, but Dogen told him that, and he said, you brought me back, and they're like, we didn't bring you back. That didn't work. And so how he was able to do it, maybe he infected him when he was dying in the jungle already, you know what I mean, because he couldn't technically get into the temple, or maybe he was somehow able to get into the water but not the air of the temple, and so when they drowned him, he got in that way. My guess is that he would have already infected him when he was like an infection, like a festering thing when he was in the jungle somehow, and that saved him.
Why did Widmore betray Sawyer?
Okay, why did Sawyer think that Widmore wouldn't betray him? I mean, it's like you learn, like, why does anybody go, damn you, Ben, you've done it again. Like, these are who the people are. But my guess about what his motivations are a couple-fold. One, possibly to use them as bargaining chips to get Desmond back from Flock, for one thing. Second, they wanted to rain holy hell on Flock's camp like they said they were going to, but they wanted to make sure the candidates were out of the way. And third, Widmore's a total believer. And if he thinks that if they leave the island with Flock, then basically the world is going to cease to exist, then he's going to do whatever he has to do to make sure that doesn't happen.
What I'm wondering is with those bombs, those targeted bombs that they're shooting off, like, how does that really affect the smoke monster?
Yeah.
Flock, that's not going to kill him.
No, it wouldn't kill him. It would kill his people. And I think that they were just making sure that it wouldn't kill any of his people that they give a crap about. But if they give a crap about them, and so does he. And if they don't, neither does he. So it seems a little weird. Although you think that they would notice that they didn't have Jack.
Yeah.
Unless they were trying to kill Jack.
Who knows? Well, that leads us to the last question for the original timeline. We have... the title is The Last Recruit.
Yeah.
Who is the last recruit? A lot of people have different theories.
Yeah.
I think it's Jack.
I do too.
Kind of feel like almost like the Hurley line about Anakin Skywalker is related to Jack. I think perhaps in the next few episodes we're going to see Jack kind of turn to the dark side and follow the Man in Black, and then kind of pull like a 180 betrayal on him at the end.
Yeah, it's funny because I really don't. I think he's totally taken that position now of faith, and he's on board with the plan in terms of he'll believe whatever Jacob had wanted them to do. He says if this guy wants off so bad, then what's going to happen if he does? If we don't stay here to stop him, I don't think he'll go to the dark side, but we'll see. It'll be interesting if he did.
All right, so now that with the flash sideways, one of the interesting things that happened was Locke being injured in an ambulance going to the hospital. He's now going to be fixed by Jack. And then you have a theory about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody has sort of their inciting incidents to merge the two timelines, and they're often maybe a life-threatening moment. But for Locke, he's in one of those right now. So, and it's often soulmates as well, the idea of soulmates, and it's been romantically. And the fact that Kate and Sawyer were flirting makes me think, oh, maybe they're the ones that are ultimately meant to be together. But I feel like Locke and Jack are each other's soulmates, not romantically, but in the sense that they're each other's, more than anything, they're each other's counterpart. Because with Jack and Locke, Alana asked Jack, do you believe in faith? And the alternate timeline, Jack still does, and he's the one that's a little more believing in faith. But the answer was really answered on the island with Island Jack, who's with that jump said, absolutely, yes, I do. Yeah. The Island Jack is becoming more and more of the original Locke position at this point. But I think they will spark each other to remember and bring in the alternate timelines.
You know what's interesting with that, because I've talked about consistency, and some people are like, oh, it is consistent because it's either a life-threatening thing or it's like this love thing. And it's like, well, it's kind of convenient that these two different things do the same thing. And then you also have Sun and Jin. If they're each other's soulmates, they're in love, they've already found each other.
Right, but she just had a life-threatening incident.
Of course, but why didn't it happen before when they... Do you know what I'm saying?
When they first fell in love.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, we're not sure how time is working on this. You know what I mean? And maybe it's as if there's a moment, if they knew each other before that flight, before flight 815, then that doesn't count. But if they connect after that flight, then that's the sparking incident. Yeah, you know what I mean? Or if they have, she got shot and then she recognized Locke, and said, that's him. Like as if she's remembering from she associates him with the devil, with the death, with Flock from the island.
Yeah. No, it makes sense in a very convoluted way. That's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of rules upon rules.
Yeah, I guess so, but I mean it actually kind of works for me. I don't think there's some of the things that seem okay. You're stretching that a little bit.
All right, guys. So that's what we thought of the episode. You can post your comments below on the website
or on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the Think Hero YouTube account.
Or you can follow us on Twitter. Mine is @ThinkHero.
@JRossi.
All right, later.